countdown.
Okay, so
So
it's probably recording, right?
I think we are recording this time. I'm so proud of you.
Okay, yeah, it's on recording this time. It's terrific. Okay.
And we're back with the
Um,
ring. Yes. Yes.
yeah, thank you for joining
Indeed.
us for another edition of Fight History. And today I'm going to be interviewing my sister, who actually fought as well. Uh, and we're just gonna walk through her fights, and yeah,
That was
okay,
a great that
um,
was a great intro. You're doing fantastic.
okay. Let me try again, maybe. Okay, what do I call this thing? Um,
Are we
okay.
are we
Um,
brainstorming during the interview?
what?
Are we brainstorming during the interview? We haven't come up with a name yet.
Maybe, maybe, but I feel like I should, yeah, come up with a name or. But there's a chicken in here. Look at this. There's a chicken just hiding over here.
Yeah,
Hmm.
you fit right in Mexico.
There's,
That can be
there's a
your new
chicken in here.
microphone. That can be your new microphone.
Right. Do you have anything to say? This this chicken. What do you think about the Fight History podcast? Have you fought a lot of chickens in your life? I mean, sorry, have you
But
fought a
the
lot of
chickens had
chickens in
more
your life?
fights than me.
Probably. Well, I don't understand. This chicken's just chilling here. Oh, okay, so yeah, I just want to do like a podcast where you go through different fighters' records and you talk about uh, who they fought, maybe before they were really well known. So I thought I'd start out and just get some practice and interview my brothers and sisters who have also fought, and nobody really knows. So
Because we
my
never got to
sister
do all
Tirza
that.
has graciously, yeah, my sister has graciously allowed me to make her the guinea pig. And so, without further ado, this is my sister Tirza Gunther. And can you tell us about your first fight and how you got into
So
fighting?
yeah, I don't really know how I got into fight. Everybody loves to think that, I like followed in your footsteps, and yeah, that's the narrative that most people think. I mean, if we're being honest, we never even trained together, really. You and I,
Right, yeah, I
we
was
never.
like always gone training somewhere. And yeah, and you or Sardis never actually trained with me at all.
No, no.
Like
Most of the
once,
people
maybe.
most of your teammates knew you like more as a person than we ever did, if we're being honest. It all just kind of happened by chance that we both became fighters as well. Yeah, so I think I started out as a grappler. I was just competing in jiu-jitsu all the time. And I don't know, one thing led to another. I was working, yeah, I don't, I was competing probably every other weekend in jiu-jitsu at the time I decided to start fighting, and it was more just the next logical step, I suppose. Um, I mean, there's only so far you can go in jiu-jitsu. Plus, I'd started boxing to kind of facilitate fitness for jiu-jitsu competition, and yeah, it just all kind of fell together. And then all of a sudden, I was looking for a fight. It wasn't easy to find a fight. Um, I'd say the first fight that I actually got was two weight classes up. Lauren Kyle. Uh, they had to pull her in from out of state because I had a hell of a time finding an opponent.
Yeah, it's so
Originally,
hard to find fights. And
yeah,
even
no.
harder for a girl. I know for me, it's like so hard.
I think I had been trying for
Are
over
you,
a year before I finally got my first fight scheduled. Um, and then yeah, it was at a catchweight.
who got that fight for you? Were you training with Jose or?
Scott Corbin got it for me. So at the time, I was training all over the place. Um, I was training with Jose a little bit in his garage, just rolling, but I was training pretty much everywhere. I was at the Fight Farm at the time, and uh, I was training with Cody Stevens and JP. Pocock. I was also cross training with at AOA and Dave Lashley's gym
Oh,
for
really? Because
jiu-jitsu.
AOA, OA, 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 or OAA, that was where Karate Mike used to fight out of, right?
Yeah, yeah. I would go out there for just sparring
And they
sessions.
used to be kind of like our rival, our local rival. So when I was training with JP, that was like Fight Farm was like kind of rivals with AOA because like we're both in Mansfield.
Yeah, there was
But
like, and then
maybe
they
when you
became like
went, it was
the
like a different
Mansfield
coach,
Shankatai
and
Academy.
right, because
And
what's
then
his
Ronnie
name
was
was teaching
Ronnie.
there,
Yeah.
right?
hmm
Or well, no, but uh, who? No, my mind's. Oh yeah, Sean. Sean was teaching there, wasn't he?
I wasn't.
Yeah.
Didn't get to train with Sean when I was there, but I only came on weekends to spar. The good thing about being a female in the fight world at that time was there were no other ones, so it was easy for me to cross train with everybody because I didn't have to worry about whether I was gonna fight the guy that I was training with. I kind of slipped through the cracks when it came to that because I know there was a lot of drama in gyms and so and so wouldn't train with so and so because people would be taking videos or trying to figure out how that guy fights because inevitably they'd be fighting each other at some point. The advantage that
Yeah,
I
people
had,
get a little nervous about times.
the advantage
Silly,
that
I
I had
think.
is I really didn't have to worry about that. I was really the only girl at the time. And if there were girls, they were a lot smaller than me, like Kayla and all them. They were at 105 or something. So I really didn't have to worry about um like people taking footage or anything like that. So yeah, they had to pull my fight from out of state. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
And then, did you do any research on her, or what kind of? Did you know anything, or did it was just kind of no
At that point,
information? She was
she
news.
had two fights, so I did have some footage to look at. She looked like a stand-up brawler, which worked out pretty well for me because I'm a grappler. My goal was to just take her down and ground and pound. Maybe work jujitsu if I can, but mostly control the top and just ground and pound. Control the fight. Is that a catch weight? Because I had trouble cutting weight before. I tried to when I first was looking for a fight, I was trying to get down to 145, and I didn't know anything about cutting weight. Actually, you helped me with that one, trying to cut weight for that
I
one.
remember, I remember we tried to like. Well, I remember we were gonna. I don't remember exactly. I remember we got like a place with a hot tub, and I was gonna show up, but maybe I was late for some reason or something, and you just started cutting. But
Oh no, that
but
was with
yeah, I
Sylvie
can't remember.
Scarhoof. That
I
was with
remember
Sylvie
riding a
Scarhoof.
bike. Oh, was it different? Was it a different time?
That's a different one. So the first one, I was supposed to fight Aaron Dutton, and you were pretty sure that I could cut 20 pounds in water. But it was like same day weigh-ins and I had never cut weight before. And it was like short notice fight, right?
Did
And
I
I was
say
like,
20 pounds?
yeah.
I think maybe I said 20 pounds.
But
Because
anyway,
I
we
cut 15 as a pro, and it's rough.
yeah, no, it was not great. I ended up in the hospital that night because I was hallucinating. I thought my face was melting off. And they ended up pumping. We did make the weight. We did make the weight. But
Well, I remember riding. I remember vaguely like riding a bike or something.
yeah,
Did
we
we just
spent
put like plastic on it and try to ride a bike or something?
So we spent the whole day cutting weight because I had I think we took it on like a week or 2 weeks notice, and I just pretty much didn't eat anything the week before, and then yeah, we were on the bike with the plastic and the albaline, and then that night we had like a bathtub full of alcohol and Epsom salts, and you were pouring boiling water in, and I was like in the bathtub, you were pouring and then I would like get out, get in a sleeping bag and like wrap up in the sleeping bag and then jump back in the hot water and then wrap up in the sleeping bag. And so I like uh yeah, it ended up like they called the I don't remember that night, but I knew that the ambulance was called and I was hallucinating and they transported me. And I just remember being so pissed off
Yeah,
because they
I
put
really
water back in
remember.
me after I made
I think I
weight.
must have left. Hey,
I don't know. I don't remember.
yeah, yeah,
But
that was a long time ago because I remember like that was kind of like the current bro science was the alcohol and the salt, but it actually is just the hot water that does it for you. So
yeah.
I don't really use alcohol when I cut weight. I just sit in the hot water. But I remember like all the fighters, they use alcohol and they rub
Mm.
themselves with what is it, like the makeup remover and stuff.
Albaline. Albaline,
But
yeah.
yeah, the Abilene, right? But it's all just it's useless. Basically, it's just the hot water that does it for you. Because Dad did the math on it on whether the salt would help, and it's theoretically it would work through like what do you osmosis, right? But it's not. It has to be saltier than your body or something, so it wouldn't really. Basically, it wouldn't do anything. It's all just bro science,
Yeah.
except for the
No,
hot
it didn't.
water.
It did. We did get the water out, but at expense. And I did try to show up and cut the weight in the morning, but I missed by 1 pound, and I remember just being devastated because she wouldn't take the fight still. So yeah, I was pretty torn apart, and I felt terrible. Uh, but then like I was like pretty determined to still fight. I was 18 at the time, and I was just like I just figured I'd do anything, and I just like was dieting, training, prepping. I told him I'd take any weight, but I didn't really want to cut again after the hospitalization. So they found me a catch weight fight that was super easy to make. Like she was supposed to meet me at 170, so I was sitting at 156 or something, or 150. I think yeah, I didn't really diet or cut weight for the next fight. I came in that day at like 156, so I was over the 155 pound. But then she came in at 180 something. So they made me make they told me I had to be over 171 or else I couldn't take the fight because I
Oh
wasn't in the
yeah,
same
because they
weight.
got the crazy rules about you have to be within 15 pounds or
Yeah.
something crazy.
So that day, I drank like 3 gallons of water, and I don't know where it was going because I still didn't weigh enough, and I should have. So I was just like so desperate. So I tried to weigh in
Right?
with
It's like 8 pounds a gallon.
yeah. I don't know why it didn't work because like it should have, but I still was underweight. So I tried to weigh in with a hoodie and a bunch of clothes on. They told me no, you're only allowed to wear shorts and a t-shirt. That's the most you're allowed to wear. So um, I like I can say this now because I'm not fighting anymore. So athletic commission don't come after me. But I did. I got like some rolls of quarters and I put them in my shorts and we did make the 171 to get over that weight class difference, and we made the fight happen with Lauren Kyle.
That's a little awkward because I know I was gonna fight something Anger Fist at 200 pounds, and I was like worried about making the weight, and he told me to just throw some quarters in my cup, right? But like girls don't have cups, or do you?
No, no, we're not allowed to wear cups. So I had to put it in my waistband and just wear a really loose t-shirt over it. That just kind of looked like a fat roll. Yeah,
Well, that's smart.
yeah.
So you
Um,
made the weight, and then
made the
any
weight.
anything
She
else
flew,
after
she flew
that?
in from North Carolina. You were supposed to be on that card with me, but I don't remember what happened. You ended up not fighting. It was just me on there, I believe. Yeah,
Huh,
there's a
I
lot.
wonder who I was supposed to.
I don't remember. It was at
I don't think I
RFO.
ever pulled out. Oh, you know who?
No,
I
somebody
know
pulled out
who.
on
I
you.
know who I got pulled out. I know. I know. I was supposed to fight Nick Brown one time, and he pulled out last second because I made weight and everything. I wonder if it was that fight.
I
And then
bet.
I ended
Yeah.
up
Was
fighting
that
him
for
later,
RFO?
but I bet that was it.
Yeah. Orvo did me good. They always looked out for me, but they got that fight done. That fight ended by TKO. I think the second round.
Did you take her down? Did it go according to plan?
It did. We had a game plan, stuck to it. It went pretty well. Ground and pound. They kept saying in the fight they were like she's going for the armbar because everybody knows me as a jiu-jitsu person and not really nobody had really seen my ground and pound or stand up game at all. So it was kind of a wild card. But yeah, it's took her down, ground and pound, got her in the like gift wrap. I just held her here and just kind of teed off on her till the ref stopped. So then I got a taste
First
of it.
round or
I believe it was the second.
was it the first round?
I believe it was the second round. I
Uh,
believe she.
so how was it? Were you like for me like fighting is like crazy. It was just all like surreal almost. Like everything feels slow and awkward. It just I don't know. It was all the adrenaline or something. It just felt terrible.
Yeah, for me it was I I felt numb. I didn't really enjoy it nor dislike it. It was just empty. I'll never forget like that first fight because I remember hitting her and remember thinking it feels like hitting the bag. Like when we do ground and pound drills, it felt like hitting the bag, just like teeing off on the bag in training. And that's how every one of my fights really felt was just I was just numb. I was disassociated for it. It was 100% muscle memory. None of like there was no thinking. It was just yeah, everything we trained just happening. It didn't feel like jujitsu competition where I would think it through or anything. It was just numb, just empty. It was just a job to get done.
That's how it was, yeah, for me too. Like I thought I would be thinking and strategizing like jujitsu, but it was just like this awkward. I don't know. Maybe it was because I'm getting hit a lot and my brain's not functioning properly. Maybe, but it was just. It felt like it wasn't me, and it was like this weird. Everything was going slow, and I was moving slow. It just didn't. It felt horrible.
Yeah.
It felt better as I would fight more, but the first fight was just it was horrible.
I'd say the hardest part was the interview afterwards because they want you to talk and like be
Oh yeah.
coherent. Yeah, I didn't know what to say. And they're like, "Yeah, your mom is here." I'm like, "Okay, sorry, mom." I remember Victor Van
Did
Tresca.
Matt interview you?
Yeah, yeah. Matt
He's the
Truckerman.
best.
He is. He really looked after us. Like that was a great promotion. I miss RFO, but BCM's kind of taken over in the Mansfield area. They do good by their fighters too.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
I
remember
would
this.
come back and fight for an RFO card. That would be fun.
I remember like, and this is before I even trained at Strong Style. I remember Victor Ventresca was the ref, and he came over, and I was like bleeding out of somewhere. I don't remember. Nothing serious. He wiped it off, and he's like, "Never let them see you bleed your own blood." And that's something that always stuck with me from that fight as well. That's because I knew who he was. I just didn't really. I'd never met him before.
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't. I mean, I'd seen him at fights refereeing, but I didn't know who he was or that he trained until I went up to Strong Style.
Yeah, so that was
So your next fight, how did that come about?
so yeah, I pretty much got a taste for it then, and everybody's asking me, okay, when are you doing it again? So I immediately told Scott Corbin like, yeah, I want another fight. I'll take anybody. Like, just get me a fight, please. So we trained. I kept training. I was in fight camp pretty much this whole time. Like, I never stopped being in fight camp. I was obsessed, and
And you're
so it
just
was like,
bouncing between JP's, Fight Farm, AOA,
so at this point,
Lashley's.
yeah, at this point, Jose's coaching me a lot more. Like he's pretty much my main coach, and then Cody was training me. Um, I'm I'm at Lashley's for jujitsu, and then I was bouncing up a little bit. I would go up to. I was training with Rocky Edwards. I was training with literally
Oh
every
yeah,
day.
he was
I was
great.
training
I think
somewhere. I was training in
did I meet
Columbus.
Rocky through you? Did you tell me about Rocky?
It's possible. I met Rocky at my first jiu-jitsu tournament. And that's where I met Jose too. I was about 2 weeks into training jujitsu, and I went to this tournament at Lancaster Academy of Martial Arts, and it was in the cage. It was the first time I had ever been in a cage, and it was a jiu-jitsu tournament in a cage. Just no gi grappling, and I used to go up there every time they did it because it was a great tournament. But and this is where I met Jose and Rocky was at this tournament, and I got my ass whooped, really. Uh, so I was in the men's division before, and I did pretty good in the men's division.
Oh
And
yeah,
then
I
they,
remember. You were like beating guys.
yeah, I did okay in the men's, but then they found a girl for me to fight, and this girl, Autumn Gordon, she's like less than 5 foot. She's little tiny, and I was like, and I'm a big girl. Like I'm like, this is not fair. I'm gonna squish this little thing. But I was like, okay, I'll take it easy on her. And then I go in. I'm in the cage with her. She's like looking across from me. She was like trying, looking like Ronda Rousey over there, just all hyped up, just crazy. And I like start walking towards her. She runs up. She flying arm bars me, snaps my arm, and I can't use my arm for several months. And that's how I met Jose. Is he comes up, he's like, "Oh, good job." Afterwards, I was like, "Dude, I lost. I did horrible. What are you talking about?" But he always kind of looked out for me after that, and he kind of took me under his wing and tried to teach me how to do jujitsu. So I was hopeless.
Yeah, that
But
getting your arm hyperextended, it takes forever to heal because
yeah,
I remember that happened to me. I was like, yeah, I'm not tapping, and then it's like you can't throw a ball for like a year.
it was horrible. I was in a sling, like I couldn't even use my arm, and it was just so sad too, because she's so tiny, and I just totally underestimated her, and it was literally like a couple seconds. It was, and that's humbling. That's so humbling. But it kind of drove me to be what I was because I was never going to be in that situation again. I would never underestimate any of my opponents from then on. I always gave everybody the benefit.
Right? People talk about, oh, you've got to be confident to fight and whatever, but I've always found exactly the opposite. Like all the times I've gotten in trouble is underestimating people. And then boom, you're done.
I always prepared for the absolute worst. Um,
Right?
which I did end up underestimating my last fight, but we'll talk about that. But anyway, Christina
Yeah,
Edwards.
but
Christina
Rocky was
Edwards.
crazy. I went up and trained with him. Yeah, he'd always have like some horrible ringworm, and then you point out, oh, I didn't notice.
Oh,
But
he's a
he was
good
really
guy.
good training.
Yeah, I learned a lot from him.
One time he gave me like a dummy, like one of those Bob dummies that you kick. And he's like, oh yeah, we went to this gym. It was like a Taekwondo gym. And he's like, yeah, they don't need it. Or I, it probably wasn't even his. I don't think. I think he just gave me their dummy, and I had it for years. I even
You
wrapped it in
probably
like a
shouldn't say
Christmas
that.
light for
Somebody's gonna come
Christmas.
tracking you down.
Right? He's very generous with other people's things. No, I mean maybe it was his, but uh,
Good guy. Yeah, they had a good team, and
anyway.
that was a good place for me to spar and stuff too. And they had like Jessica, his wife, she was up there and she helped me too because she was about my size and she fought as well. So it was a good resource for me to have up there. So I was training there. I'd go up to Ronin and train. I'd go up to I think at that point I was just starting to go up to Apex a little bit and help Brianna, who was another girl around my size. She did jujitsu, but she was starting to fight too. But yeah, literally every day I was somewhere different because the gyms that I had available to me, they weren't training every day. They would, you'd have a couple days a week here, a couple days a week there, but I needed every day. I was obsessed and I wasn't gonna lose. So, yeah, I'd find somewhere to train at least once a day.
Yeah,
Christina
so
Edwards.
what did like a typical week look like?
So let's see, Monday was usually no-gi, jujitsu, wrestling. Tuesday would be gi jujitsu, and then I had uh boxing. Wednesday was like a Muay Thai sparring sesh. Thursday was jujitsu. Friday was uh cross train day. I would go usually spar somewhere. Uh Saturday was cross training. That was sparring day. Like usually that's MMA sparring, cage work. Sunday would be also a cross training day. That would be cage work, MMA sparring, and then back to Monday, back to my normal gyms. Yeah, and then I was working. What was I doing at the time? I think I was working at the lab at the time, so I had a nice good schedule where I could, I'd work from 3 a.m. to 3 p.m. and then go train till about 8, and then get home and go
You
shower,
would
go to.
torture animals and then go torture people.
I didn't torture animals. I worked
What it
in
was.
a. Yes.
You were developing COVID at the time?
Yes. Um, no, I worked in biomedical research, so I worked in a histology laboratory, and I would I pretty much did all the paperwork and the transfer of tissue to screen to slide to send off to pathology. So it was just sitting all day, so it was really easy for me to just be really active afterwards and just pretty much live for training and then work and facilitate that and then just go train again. That was my whole life. That's all I did. Was train.
Okay. So the second fight.
Christina Edwards. Yeah, so she was a boxer. I knew that. I was able to like Jose was integral to helping me come up with fight plans for these guys because he would go through fight footage with me. We would find like everything we knew about each person. We'd find like little snippets of training and then analyze every little thing about it. So we knew like where she was weak in her boxing, where she was like we knew that she didn't grapple at all. So we were back to the same game plan with her, um, which ended up working out. She was really cool. Like we got along before and after the fight. I think that was her first fight, my second fight. I don't know that she ever fought again. That one was a first round TKO. Some sources say that it's a submission, but it was not. So I had her in an armbar. I think it only lasted a little over a minute. I took her down, ground and pound, got into an armbar position. There was a bit of a scramble. I got into an armbar and it was on top, but I sent it, and I had her arm wrapped around my hip backwards, and it was bent like this, like hyperextended backwards, and it was not doing anything. She was just sitting there, so I just started ground and pound, like hammer fist to the face until her arms are trapped, and I'm just pounding on her. So they ended up stopping it, ref stoppage. But never seen
Yeah, I don't
anybody with
trust
such
the
flexible
armbar at all.
arms.
I'm scared to go for it because I went for it on a skinny guy. Oh yeah, Niles Hoopman. I went for the armbar and it just bent and he was fine. And I'm like, oh shoot, it's not reliable. It's not worth giving up position.
Do you know? I worked with his mom at the laboratory. We bonded over
Oh
you beating her
really?
son up. Yeah.
Oh no. And you trained with them too, probably.
No, no,
Probably
I
not
never
then,
did.
right? But you trained at
No.
he used to train at AOA.
So the only time I was at AOA was for open spar. So
Oh.
that was just whoever would come in for open mat to, and they didn't really have like training sessions. You'd just come in and wail on each other. It was just it wasn't the best way of training, but like I met some good guys, like, and I got some good rounds in. But yeah, it's definitely not. Is the way I developed my fight career after that was a lot better because it was structured. Like I would just go in and it'd just be like a fight. Everybody would just be pounding on each other. And it was
Did
it was
they
chaos.
wear like like MMA gloves. I know I would train at some places at the beginning, and they would only spar in MMA gloves because they were like, well, it's got to be realistic for the fight.
Yeah, no, that's all we ever started. MMA gloves, shin guards, and some of the guys wore headgear, but us dumb people didn't.
Huh. Okay, so then number three.
So number three, that one was when stuff was starting to get more serious. So this one was at a lower weight class, and it was in Iowa, and that was versus Solveig Skarhus. She was undefeated at the time. I think she was 4-0. Really hyped up, and I
Was
was
that for
coming
a
in.
title?
It was not actually. But I think we were co-main event. She was undefeated, hometown hero. Like I was probably supposed to lose that fight. Uh, they flew me in for King of the Cage, and this was one of my favorite fights. It
I
was
don't.
very challenging.
I think I went to that one because I went to one where it was like on an Indian reservation, and it was kind of like
Yeah,
a nice promotion. Like they treated
yeah, it
you
was a
well,
casino.
especially for like amateur
Yeah,
fighters.
it was King of the Cage, so it was televised. It was on national TV. Um, and it was at a casino in Iowa, and there was nothing around there except like the gas station that we stayed next to and the hotel casino. 'Cause I remember after weight cut, like you and I were looking for like something to eat afterwards, and it's just like gas station beef jerky. It was pretty much all we could find. Uh, but yeah, you
So you
flew
cut
out.
weight for that, and that was the one that we did in the hot tub.
So I rented an Airbnb uh near the airport where I was gonna fly out of, and you came out and helped me cut weight there in the hot tub, and we did it in a lot more reasonable way. Like, and I had dieted
That
most
was
of it
much
off.
better.
Yeah, no, we only had a couple pounds to lose. So we had the hot tub, we relaxed, and and then you were like telling the Amazon Echo or something to rob a bank at 6 o'clock or something the next day in the Airbnb. You like set it on their alarm or something.
Yeah,
So
I remember
who knows
something.
what
I
happened.
was like messing with the because we Airbnb that house, and I was like telling it, setting bad alarms for the people. They
So
probably left a
many bad
terrible review.
alarms. I cannot
Yeah,
believe I didn't get banned from there with all the things that you told their Amazon to do. You told it to buy stuff too, and I don't know.
I
Anyway.
know.
So yeah, Jose was actually supposed to be my coach for that, but he ended up really getting really sick beforehand. He was in the hospital, so I was kind of stressing out there because I was like worried about him, and also like I didn't have a coach that I could hear the voice of, because I only really hear his voice. He was my main coach at the time, him and Cody, because I was training
Yeah,
with
I'd always
Cody.
want Cody in my corner because I recognize his voice. Anybody else talking, like it just blends in with the crowd.
Yeah. And Jose had been my main corner like throughout all my fights. He had been there for me, so it was hard going out there knowing that he wouldn't be there, but also like worrying about him because he was like seriously sick. He uh he actually got his brother Hector to come out and coach me, who had been our boxing coach at the gym. So he came out, he drove all the way from Ohio out to Iowa to come coach me, and then you flew out and you were in my corner as well. Um, but I didn't hear either of you guys. Like I was just zoned out. Like I remember coming back to the
Yeah, and I
corner and
was like
you guys,
just yelling things, but I don't really know how you train or what you do because I wasn't, I never trained with you.
yeah. So Solvi and I were very similar in style. She had a strong wrestling background and a really good stand-up game as well. It was it was a lot of going back to the basics of what we knew, but also I plan to stand a little more with her and or be on top. it was a tough fight. That one was a split decision. I think anybody who watched it would agree that it shouldn't have been a split decision. It was a unanimous decision in anybody that I've heard size. But I got 2 out of 3. She definitely won one round. But
Yeah,
yeah, the one ref saw it like
that's
all
pretty
three
good,
rounds
and
to
when you're in
her.
their hometown too. So
Yeah, there was definitely some like the one ref that was the split, he saw all 3 rounds for her, which is pretty ridiculous. But the other two refs saw it the other way. But yeah, that was one of my hardest fights. That one, it was a challenge, especially going in pretty much alone. Well, I wasn't alone, but it felt like I was alone, you know? So it was, and then new grounds because I had only fought on home turf at that point for RFO specifically. So yeah, that was the when I started actually becoming a fighter. I'd say it was that fight right there. Much respect to Solveig Scarhus. I
still
don't
keep in touch with her.
know. No, I never heard from her again. I don't think she ever fought after me.
Uh,
I did.
yeah, because like sometimes
That's the only
the
one.
people you fight are like,
That's the only one that I didn't keep in touch with. She
you should
she never really.
look
I
her up
tried
and see
to.
what she's doing.
I tried to stay in touch, but she wasn't very interested. Uh, which is fair. But yeah, I've stayed in touch with all the other ones. But yeah, that's the one that didn't really stay in touch. We weren't really friends afterwards or before. Or, it was a different vibe that fight. But yeah, I was hyped after that one. Like I was ready to go again. Probably had 6 fights cancel on me after that fight. I had like 6 fights set up. I had talked to several
Crazy,
promoters.
that's crazy. No,
Yeah. No, I had had a lot of cancellations before, but after that fight, I would sign contracts and they would drop out. Um,
I mean I
which
had like 6 fights canceled on like in my career. So
really?
that's crazy.
No, I had
Yeah.
at least 6 that were signed contracts that dropped out in between that and my last fight. Um, which was insane. Like I was getting so frustrated and I was at that point I was looking for any promotion that would take me, anybody that would fight me, literally anyone. And Scott Corbin, he always kind of looked out for me. He finally found me somebody. Um, Jesslyn Michelle out of Las Vegas, and I think she was 4-0 at the time. We were both undefeated. Um, it was so that would be a title shot for Honor, and there were
Which was
some
like a new promotion.
yeah, it was so it was after Cody's thing with Honor, and he was not willing to coach me for them. Like I had talked to him and I was like, I can't find a fight with any other promotion. Like, I have to take this. Like, I have to
Oh
take this
yeah,
fight.
you gotta take whatever you can get. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, because he had the whole thing with them where I don't know why exactly he hates them. I think because like after his getting his eye poked out, they were like not.
Yeah, they
I
did
don't
him real
remember.
dirty. They
They were
did him
not
real dirty.
nice to him or something. Um,
There was a lot that I'm not
but
gonna get into, but they yeah, they did him real dirty. And it was kind of a conflict for me to fight for them, but also it was in the hometown of my gym. Like my teammate was on the card as the main event. I was the co-main. It was a fight that I knew was gonna happen. Like for once, I knew like this one wasn't gonna fall through. This one was legit, and it was a challenge. Like she was good. I watched footage. Like strong wrestler, strong striker. Like just strong altogether. Girl's like 6 foot, jacked, way bigger than me, but
wasn't she training with? Was that Scarhouse or was it her that's training with the guy in Vegas, the UFC fighter? What's his name with the mullet?
that was Jesslyn. Yeah, she was
Oh
from
yeah,
Vegas.
yeah.
She was from a really good gym. Uh, but yeah, she came with a lot of hype too. So yeah, they were able to set that fight up. I was excited. Uh, at that point, I was going through a lot of stuff mentally too, and it was hard getting my head into the game a bit, but it's what I lived for. You know, that's all I did anyway. Like I was ready. We trained for it. The goal with that one was to kind of see where her wrestling was, and if I was better on the ground, keep it on the ground. But I also felt like I had a chance standing, which looking back, I would have done better keeping it standing because I did underestimate her wrestling a bit. Like I had seen her on the bottom, hadn't really seen her wrestling game, and she was a pro wrestler, so I kind of didn't take that very seriously. But
Right, because pro wrestling is it's
yeah,
just like yeah. My wife, she says she's like, oh, they're a wrestler. When you say wrestler, she just thinks like they're lucha libre, like fake wrestler. So it's like,
yeah. So I
no,
didn't really
no,
have
like I'm
a
talking
ton of
like
respect for
legit
that.
wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But what you don't think about
yeah.
is
They're like,
they are wrestlers. They're strong wrestlers that made a living out of it because they were good at wrestling. You know, but yeah, she ended up taking me down in that fight. And I was
yeah, a lot of them have a real wrestling background. Did she?
yeah, yeah. She was a phenom. So I think she actually started fighting like around the same time I did. But she was an athletic phenom. Like she was insane. And she had a jiu-jitsu grappling background and sparring. She started in a very well-rounded way at a very well-rounded gym. So she was talent. She is talented. She went on to like compete in PFL and had a really good career. I think she just retired recently. Um, but yeah, that one ended up being a unanimous decision for her, and bravo, like well played. Uh, it was only 3 rounds. I always think if I had more rounds, maybe it might have gone a different way. But
Was she getting tired or what?
I
Or
definitely
just like you would
had
have figured it out?
definitely had the cardio advantage, but the only reason that I think is because the last round I did start to kind of figure it out, and I was able to stay on the feet a bit more. And surprisingly, because I'm not a striker, I was doing better on the feet uh, than I was on the ground. But I was in a weird headspace that fight. I remember telling Jose, like, when I was in the wrapping my hands, I'm like, I can't get into it. I can't get hyped about it at all. I was just shut off. I remember, like, she picked me up at some point and she, like, spun me around and slammed my head into the cage. It was like a pro wrestling move. It was fantastic. And I was just like,
That's like Crazy Horse, right? Have you ever seen that
yeah,
Crazy Horse fight where
yeah, no, it
Charles
was. It was
Bennett picks
insane.
the guy up?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was
I love
fantastic.
that.
Like looking back at it, it's awesome. And then she like I remember being on the ground and like I didn't ever feel like I was in danger. A lot of people think that I got really beat up that fight, which fair, I came out with raccoon eyes. But I never felt like I was in
At least
danger of
not like Sardis.
being knocked out.
Do you remember Sardis after that fight? Yeah, I put that picture of him of Kung
And
Fu
next to Kung
Panda
Fu
next to
Panda.
him, and
Yeah.
it looked identical.
Actually, yeah, my eyes looked
Yeah.
kind of like that afterwards. I went to California afterwards and kind of cleared my head a bit, thought about my life choices. But I remember being in the airport after that fight and people were like giving me this look and like, oh, what the fuck? And like, because I'd wear a hat because I had big rings under my eyes, like, and that's kind of when I started really understanding the effects of all the concussions that I've had. Like, because I was at that point, I was having so many memory issues after that fight, and for months and months after, just and like emotional regulation issues, memory issues, not
Like you just
remembering
don't
anything.
remember things, or
There's big gaps,
I
and
don't know.
short-term
I've been
memory.
kicked in the head. One time I fought a kickboxing fight, and I fought this guy called Scotty Too Hottie, and he kicked me in the head, and then I, I was sure it was the second round, and then it was the last. I was like, okay, one more round, and my coaches were like, no, it's over. and I didn't believe them. And then at the end, I rewatched the video, and I realized I had just like missed a round
Yeah.
from like getting kicked in the head. Was it like that, where, or was it like everything,
It was
like long
everything.
term stuff?
More short term. More short term. So like I didn't remember the fight at all. Like I've rewatched the fight a lot of times and I remember like little snippets. But I was having memory issues before the fight and a lot of like, emotional regulation and I didn't realize cuz I was training in a really dumb way. Like I would block with my head consistently. I wasn't wearing headgear a lot of the time because I had like a
Oh,
claustrophobic
I
thing
hate
with the
headgear.
headgear.
It's the
It
worst.
would
You
it
get
would
all like, yeah, you're claustrophobic and sweat,
it would throw me
hot.
into a panic attack. So I was having this issue and there's a couple of my close coaches that know about this, but I would put the headgear on to spar and when I strapped it in, like the head being covered was throwing me back to like some other memories. And it would put me into a panic attack just having the headgear on. Um, so it was interesting coping with that as well as training. And that's like completely unrelated, but um, yeah, there's I was having memory issues before, and then after the fight, I just booked a flight to California, and I just like sat on the beach for a week, and I don't really remember most of that. Uh, I just lived out of a car for a little bit and just like, but I was going through a lot of mental stuff.
Had you ever been out of the state?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I had been to most of the states at that point. I had traveled quite a bit for jujitsu competition, and that was just a safe
Yeah,
place
'cause
that
you
was
guys
away
were on
from
that
everybody I
jiu-jitsu
knew.
team, and you would just,
Yeah, I know. I had already been to Australia for the Sport Jiu-Jitsu Worlds and everything else
oh
by that
yeah.
point. Like I had been all over competing, but that was just it was somewhere comfortable and safe that was away from people because I couldn't. It was hard to face everyone because I sold that arena out. Most of the people that were there were to watch me, and I felt like I
Yeah,
had
you and
let
Sardis,
everyone
the
down.
people loved you guys. For you and Sardis, like, for whatever reason, like fans, like people around just loved you guys.
There was a lot of hype behind me, and I don't really know why. I think maybe because my name was
No,
out there
I
so
don't.
much
I mean,
because I was
Sardis because he would
competing.
stand up and like punch with people, I think.
I think because I got around so much in the community, like I was competing everywhere for years and years
Yeah,
before
probably
I
helps to
started
train in all
fighting.
those gyms.
Yeah, and I was so young too. Like I was only 18 for my first fight, and I
There's
was
not
gung
a
ho
lot of
about
girl
it.
fighters.
Especially not back then. There are more now. It's a lot more common now, and I love seeing it. But yeah, after that fight, I actually signed several contracts to fight again, but then I started I looked in because I pretty much avoided medical treatment at that point. I just ignore it until it goes away. But these issues that were coming up weren't going away. I finally started getting some neurological scans and they're like you cannot get hit in the head anymore. It's over
Really, so
for
they
you.
like looked at your brain and said like, "Oh, it's damaged here and stuff."
Yeah. Yeah, and
Because I
they
got a
told me pretty
CT
much it's
scan. The UFC did a CT scan, but they never told me anything. So I don't know what's going on in
probably a lot. Yeah. No, well, the thing is with CTE is they can't tell until you're dead. So, but they can see markers and they can see damage and they can see gray areas. And they can tell you like this is damaged and you should not be doing more damage, especially with the symptoms.
but
And so,
but I feel like they're always going to tell you that, right? Because like they don't want sued, so it's so hard to
yeah,
know what to trust.
I, yeah, considering the symptoms and everything else that was going on, I wasn't really questioning them. I think they were correct in that call. And I was pretty much faced with the choice, give up your whole life and everything you've dedicated everything to, or, like keep doing it. And
Die.
yeah, yeah, there's not much time. And so I'm 20 something years old at the time, and I have to choose whether I want to live a different life eventually. And it took me, I wasn't ready. I signed up for several more fights and they dropped out. And at that point I was like, well, maybe this is a sign. But it's hard going out on a loss, you know, because I think
Yeah, it
what
sucks because all of us went out. All of us went out on one loss. We all quit. We all look like quitters. I hate it.
Yeah, and I think that's the narrative that everybody kind of assumed, and I never corrected it because, I don't really care at this point. It was hard and I kind of dropped off the planet for a little bit, but yeah, I think that's what most people assume is because I lost and, I wasn't able to. I did continue to train and I did continue to seek out fights, but at some point, I started thinking about what the doctors were saying and what I was seeing and what was really worth it to me, and it it wasn't. Like it was really something to keep me distracted from everything else that was going on in my head. That's what, like, I loved fighting, but that's what it was. It was a distraction from life, and I really just had to start living and, accepting that I couldn't run away anymore. Here we are, and the brain's doing a little better now after a couple of years, but my short-term memory will never be like it was. It's a good run while it lasted.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It
And you make
is.
some good friends.
You do, and the
So what's the
community is
moral
like
of the
nothing else.
story?
Live free, die hard. Uh, I don't know. Is there a moral? Everybody chooses their priorities and what's worth it to them. Like, if you love it, give it your all. I don't regret anything. It made me who I am, and I would not be alive without it personally. Like, but that's my story. Everybody else has to write their own.
Yeah, Cody lost an eye over it.
Yeah. But that's how he makes his living now, right? Like he shares all of his
Yeah,
knowledge,
right.
all of that work ethic, everything that he's learned, he's able to change so many people's lives in a positive way. And I started coaching after that, and that was one of the most rewarding things I've ever done. Like I spent years just coaching jujitsu and going to tournaments and seeing my people win, and it was one of the best things I ever did. And I would never give that up. Like jujitsu saved my life, and I know it saves so many other people. So
Yeah, coaches are like so selfless. They just like they're so inspirational. Or like they help so many people. Like just
it's one of the
just
best things
really
you
like
could
a
ever do with your life.
selfless.
I have so much respect for everybody who's helped me in the journey when I was training. All of the people who let me coach them, like everybody who was in my life throughout that part of my life, like some of the best people you'll ever meet, and they kept me alive. Like they kept so many people alive, and yeah, I can never thank them enough. All of my coaches. So, yeah, no regrets at all. It's just a different path now.
Okay, and so you're still training though. You're still doing jujitsu,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
what
I
are
still
you?
train jujitsu casually, just for funsies, because it makes me happy. I don't compete anymore because my job is very physical and I need my body parts to work. So, I'm kind of low key. I train, I drill, It'll always be a part of my life, but it doesn't need to be an obsession. It's just something I do because it makes me happy. And I think that's a much more healthy relationship than I ever had with it.
Okay. Well, thank you. This is great. And plug anything? I don't know.
No, honestly, I don't have any plugs anymore.
Any supplements, any
But
sponsors? No. Oh,
B2G
I don't know what to
coffee.
say.
No, thank
Okay,
you.
BTG.
I would just say thank you to everybody who's been involved in my journey and everybody who continues to be involved in other people's journeys. Martial arts is one of the best things that you can ever do. It teaches you so much about life, uh, work ethic, like how to interact. Like an amazing thing, and more people should do it. Whether you fight or not, that's up to you. But yeah, it's one of the best things you can do. And thanks for having me on. Take care of
Okay,
yourselves.
thanks so much. Hopefully this time we actually recorded it.
Yeah, you
Can
better have.
you
I'm not doing this a
um,
third time.
I'm so bad. I forget to hit play. I forget to hit record every time. No,
No,
can
it's
you wait a
recording right
second though?
now. It
Because
better be.
I did this with Sardis. And the second time I hit record and then he didn't wait for it to upload on his side. So once I hit stop, it's gonna say something and then it will say like done uploading. Can you just make sure that it uploads before you cancel out of it?
Can do.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it. Let's see.
Later.
Thank you.
Say bye to your chicken for me.
Okay. Does it say anything like uploading or something?